Set up my little space because no one's here to help me right now. Okay, that should be good. I'm gonna go over here and check, make sure everything's in place. So this is a second part to my painting an iPad case. The first part was really kind of boring, not gonna lie. And so now I'm just kind of here working this out, and I painted the whole background and kind of the set parts so that way I can work on some more details. I have it more focused on the iPad this time and not my face, because I'm mostly looking at the iPad and not exactly the whole, like, my face, because I'm not going to be looking at the camera. But I do have actually a really cool story time. So everybody, welcome back to my channel. Thank you for being here. I'm really excited to do this here. I'm hopefully going to make this a lot more entertaining than my first live. This is my second live today. And I have actually a plan now for what I'm going to be working on and like a story to tell while I'm working on it. So as you can probably see, this whole background here, it is a little bit streaky and kind of like cracked a little bit, but I really don't mind that very much because I'm going to be drawing over it and it's going to be a very like textural drawing, and so I think that it'll blend in actually pretty well as much as this. So without further ado, let's get started. I am going to be drawing like a Starry Night inspired kind of like swirlies up here, and then down here I'm gonna draw two cats, like two silhouettes of cats, because I really love cats and I think they're gonna be super cute. So let's start with the story time while I draw on here. So to start out, I live in a pretty old house as far as most houses go. Like it's I think over 100 years old. Maybe like 102, maybe 104. So, I mean, there's things that are bound to go wrong, right? Now this sounds unrelated to the story. This is the story of how my house flooded. And it's not just kind of like it rained and it flooded, like something went wrong and it flooded. So, this doesn't sound related to it, but it does help kind of set up the story. So my mom and my younger sister are going to like go on a run. So they go on a run together, and it's kind of just like a normal run, but it's on the sidewalks, which in the city, the sidewalks are not very well maintained. So sometimes the sidewalks get like really, really, really bumpy and like messed up and cracked. So they're really hard to run on. So anyway, they go on this run and it starts becoming like really bumpy and obnoxious, and my sister isn't really paying much attention, and so she ends up tripping my mom by accident, and my mom falls off. They were talking, and it just kind of, they end up falling.
I was talking to her, and that made her not paying attention to the road, and so so she was not paying attention to.
My sister is pitching in and explaining exactly what happened.
My mom.
Speak to the world.
Okay, so my mom and me were running, and I was talking to her, kind of being annoying, and I just was distracting her from the road, and there's this big crack in the sidewalk, and so she tripped and fell on her arm since she was turning around to talk to me.
Okay, got it. So she tripped and fell on her arm, and so basically she wasn't sure whether she had broken it, sprained it, fractured it. She really didn't know what was going on. And so basically it was kind of actually scary. She had to go to the hospital. I didn't learn about any of this until I got home. I was actually kind of nervous when I got home and she wasn't there, because normally I get home pretty late, she's there. She wasn't, and my dad was, and I was like, okay, where is she? You know, blah, blah, blah. Usually he doesn't know because she's usually out in the garden or upstairs working or something like that. So she's not there, and I'm kind of like nervous, and then he tells me she's at the hospital. And I'm like freaked out, of course, right? Because I just get home and hear that my mom's in the hospital. And I'm like, what happened? And he explains to me all that. And I'm like, I really hope she's okay. So she gets home a few hours later, and I'm like, thank gosh you're okay. I really was worried about everything that I was told. And she was like, I feel fine, but she was obviously on a lot of pain medication, so she was exhausted and tired and wanted to go to sleep. So she had taken like NyQuil so she could sleep better, and had ended up using the bathroom right before she went to sleep. And this sounds completely unrelated, but it is. So the toilet is a little bit embarrassing for her, but she doesn't mind. The toilet ends up clogging, and she's just like, okay, whatever, it's fine. I'll just deal with it in the morning. I'll go to bed because she's exhausted. It's late at night. She has a sprained arm. So she doesn't worry about it. She goes to bed, not thinking much about it. And I was already in bed by this time. So I wake up in the middle of the night. I kind of had this like sense that something was wrong. I don't know what it is. I just have
spidey sense.
my sister calls it a spidey sense. I just woke up with a rush of adrenaline.
Calls to her.
It was almost as if I'd woken up from a nightmare, but obviously I didn't have a nightmare. I just woke up with a rush of adrenaline, wondering what the heck was going on, and I just felt that something was wrong. So I rush out of my room, and I see my dad running frantically around the second floor. We were on the second floor. And I'm like, what's going on? What happened? And he's like, the toilet was clogged.
Don't forget you stepped in water.
And it is now overflowing. And so I'm like, where? I don't see it because I haven't looked at the ground yet. Then I step into the next room over the threshold, and I step into like an inch of water. And I'm like, oh my God, this is okay. Hopefully it hasn't like leaked downstairs. I had no idea how long it had been running for.
And then my dad's like, oh, yes.
No, so this is about midnight. It wasn't even that late. I had only been asleep for like 2 hours maybe. So I start running, trying to get towels from like the closet. I'm like freaked out, wondering like what the heck is happening? What's going on? I'm like kind of scared that something bad is gonna go happen, or like we're gonna like ruin the floor or something.
I was sound asleep.
My sister and my mother were completely asleep, not even knowing this whole thing was going on.
I'm a heavy sleeper.
My mom was on medication, and my sister just is oblivious. So basically, we went on, we were just like running around the second floor with our towels and stuff, trying to clean everything up. I am a little bit scared to even go downstairs, but I do because my dad is busy upstairs, so I'm like figuring might as well go downstairs and try and see what the damage is done. It is something I've never ever seen in my whole life. I've never even seen anything like it. Like, I almost wish I had a video. My first instinct was to go upstairs and get my iPad, because at the time I didn't have a phone, to get my phone and my iPad, and record what was going on. But I didn't, in worry that my dad was gonna be like, what the heck are you doing? Why are you not like cleaning? Why are you have your iPad out? But it's something that only him and I remember. It was the whole dining room. There's 4 lights on either side of the ceiling. 2 lights on either side of the ceiling, and so there's 4 lights total on the ceiling. And then there's a chandelier in the middle. And there is like waterfall-sized streams of water coming out from every single one of them. And I just kind of stand there in like utter shock, not knowing exactly what to do. My dad comes down a few seconds later behind me. And honestly, he's always been like the one who's like, don't sit and think about it, just kind of try to see what you can do to fix it. And he sat there in a few seconds of just like, what are we going to do? We were both kind of terrified and worried that like our whole house was going to like be ruined. So before I continue there, what happened, what woke my dad up.
A few moments later.
What had happened previously, before I get on to what we did and all that, we have basement tenants in our house. They're lovely, wonderful people. We're friends with them, actually. They're super fun, people, and we just have a great time with them. So often they'll text us or if they want to hang out or something, but usually if they call us, it's not a good sign, right? Like we're like, oh no, they're calling us. What's going on? So my dad has fallen asleep in this chair in the family room. He just falls asleep there often. He falls asleep there and receives a call from our basement tenants in the middle of the night, around, well, maybe not the middle, it was more like midnight. And he kind of is not the most like alert when he wakes up. He's kind of a more groggy, like, oh, what's going on? I don't know what's happening, right? And so basically what happens is he receives this call and he's just like not really with it. And so the basement tenants tell him like the house is like flooding basically, and there's like water pouring into the basement, and he's just like, okay, and hangs up. And they're kind of like, what is going on? Why is he just like, okay, and he's not worrying about it? That was just because he had not been really awake yet, so he really had not been paying much attention. So anyway, then he kind of is like, fine, I guess I'll go see what's going on, right? He puts like the footrest down to the chair and his feet splash in water. And then of course he's awake. He's like, what the heck is going on? What's happening? Is there water? And so then he wakes up and he's up for about an hour trying to figure out what the problem was. Apparently the toilet, and it was thankfully not sewer water, it was all clean water. It would have been terrible if it had been sewer water. So it was just clean water, but somehow the toilet was clogged and also overflowing at the same time because the water had been left running. So it was not sealing it off properly from receiving water from the clean water pipe. And so basically what had happened is it was just overflowing with water for several hours. So anyway, he is actually quite straightforward and thoughtful, and he just goes straight to the problem before even trying to clean everything up, and shuts the water off to the toilet, right? So basically what happens is he turns off the water to the toilet, and it stops the water, but yet there's still hundreds and thousands of gallons of water just flooding into our house. So before I continue, I'm going to address a few of the comments that I've received from some people. Let's see. Lots of people say hi. Some people said, so glad I haven't missed your second live. Well, thank you. I'm trying to make this one a little bit better. Some people are asking, what am I drawing? Oh, okay. So my idea is to kind of have more of like a starry night vision, and like then two silhouettes of cats on the bottom, and that way I can just kind of like think of everything through. And then basically there's some other comments. Okay, perfect. You guys are so nice. Anyways, so just kind of two silhouettes of cats down here and some more like Van Gogh style things on top. This is an iPad case that I am painting for my papa. He has asked me to just kind of decorate his case, and I figured I'd try to make a live out of it. For the people who are watching, or for the people that had watched or have been watching, hi, nice to see you all. Really excited that you're here. And yeah, welcome. So let's continue the story. So he turns off the pipe to the toilet, and I'm like, okay, good, fantastic. This is great, because I was really, really worried that it would not work because there's still gallons of water pouring into our house, right? So basically we get downstairs and we have that moment of shock, right? Just like 10 seconds of just sitting there staring. My whole dining room is in like a foot of water, and it slopes towards the middle because, as I mentioned previously, it is a very old house. So we get there and we're just sitting there watching our whole house flood in like a foot of water. The chandelier is overflowing with just water, and all of the lights are pouring out water, right? So we are kind of like freaked out. Like, we're like, what are we gonna do? Everything in our house is pretty much wooden, So obviously wood swells when you mix it with water. We thought our floorboards would have to be replaced. They would swell and crack and we'd have to get a whole new floor, you know. So we try not to think about that in the moment. It's like maybe 30 degrees outside or 40 degrees. It's pretty cold. And so we start getting towels and bowls and stuff, just freaking out in the moment. Then remembering a few minutes later that we actually have buckets in the garage outside. So we're like, oh good, okay, we have buckets. So we run outside to the garage, try to get the buckets. We're moving all the furniture out of the dining room, hoping that like some of it can be salvaged. So basically we move the table out, we move the chairs out, we move everything, the carpet, we try to start drying all that off while there's buckets underneath the water as to kind of like try and like dry it off and catch it. So we're like, that would be my sister. We were like periodically emptying out the water buckets and trying to dry off all the furniture, hoping it can be like saved and whatnot.
I was sound asleep, not knowing any of this was going on. Like, what a peaceful dream.
So my mom and sister are still sleeping through all of this. And so we're just kind of like doing everything we possibly can. Then our basement tenants are obviously still kind of freaked out. They're like, why haven't you come down here yet? What's going on? Like, we need some help. And we're like, believe me, we need help too. Like, as bad as it is down there, it's like 10 times worse up here. So we kind of take care of all that upstairs. Took us like an hour maybe just to kind of like organize things while the water's slowly, very, very slowly starting to let up. And so basically what happens after that is we go downstairs into the basement, and it's not nearly as bad as we thought. It's more or less like some like small puddles and like maybe a desk or two got wet, and we were like, okay, that's nothing bad compared to what we just had to deal with, right? So at that point, we're kind of exhausted, and we're just kind of like, okay, you know what, we'll clean it up. So we go outside, we get the shop vac, vacuum everything up, kind of takes care of the big problems and stuff. It's not nearly as bad as we thought it would be in the basement. The tenants are happy, they're grateful, they're like, I know, we're so sorry, we know this sucks. But they're very sweet and friendly and completely understand the whole situation. I mean, like, there's nothing we could have done about it besides what we had just done, right? So we take care of all of that. Everything seems to be working out pretty good. We do the most we can to clean up upstairs, and we like didn't even realize how many towels we had in that house till that night. We were like, oh my gosh, we have so many towels. And thank goodness, right? Because without them, I think the house would have been way worse off. So we try to like put some towels in the washing machine, hoping that they'll like dry off, but it doesn't really work that well. So we just have to try and put them outside. It is really, really cold outside, so we were like freezing because we didn't obviously have time to put coats on and whatnot. So anyways, after that, we had kind of done the most we could. It's now like 3 or 4 in the morning. We've been up for several hours, you know, stressing about all of this. And so we figure there's nothing else we can do for tonight. We might as well just kind of like pack it up and go to bed. I'm like, I need a shower because I'm really gross. All that water, even though it was like technically clean, it still went through the ceiling and stuff, and the ceiling is not clean, obviously. So before I do that, my dad's just like, you know what? I think I'm gonna go sit in the hot tub. We have a really, really old one that came with the house that still functions pretty well. So I'm just kind of like, you know what? I think I'm going to go out there too. So we go outside and just kind of talk about everything that just happened. We're kind of still in a little bit of shock, but even more shock than my mom and my sister didn't wake up and that they have no idea what happened.
Yeah, I woke up, I went out of my bed, I walked, I was like, is our house a lake?
So anyway, we were just kind of sat out there for like a half hour, kind of just talking about things. It was kind of nice, actually. As much as you would think like, oh my gosh, you're just gonna leave it how it is. We're like, well, we really can't do much other than just do what we did, right? So we just kind of talked for a little bit, and obviously we have this huge rush of adrenaline still, so we're not able to go to sleep. And so we get out of the hot tub, and I'm just kind of like, you know what? I'm really hungry. And he's like, so why don't you just eat some cereal? And I'm like, okay. And it's like 3:30, maybe 4 o'clock in the morning. We're just kind of like chilling, eating cereal. And then we decided to go upstairs and watch a movie. Might seem like such a weird thing to do after everything that just happened, but we really needed a way to relax so that we could go to sleep, at least for maybe a few hours before like the day started and school and work and all that happened. But as I'm going to bed, I then go over and take a shower because I'm gross, right? And I kind of pull the, so I don't have to go to school tomorrow, right? Kind of card. And, you know, of course he's like, yes, sure, of course. And so actually everything ended up being surprisingly good. Nothing terrible really happened. I mean, like, obviously the ceiling was damaged. And it was like the floor actually we didn't even have to replace, which was such a blessing, honestly. Like, it was the worst. It was like a terrible thing, but the best situation of the worst thing that could have happened. So like it could have been a lot worse had it been like sewage, had we had to replace the whole floor, had we had to like disinfect the whole house. But it like ended up actually being a pretty good situation considering the circumstances. So it was actually kind of a really interesting experience. I'll probably never forget it. So yeah, we didn't have to replace the floor. Everybody was fine. We went upstairs, kind of woke up my mom, even like in her grogginess with the, you know, sleeping medication and whatnot. And she was just we were just like, don't freak out, don't worry about it, it's been taken care of. But the house did flood, and she was like, what, huh? And she was really confused, and so we just let her go back to sleep. And I don't know, it was just so interesting to have had that experience, you know, and nobody else. I think some people actually don't even believe us, me and my dad, that it happened, because we're just so like
I do. I saw the buckets.
We're so enthusiastic about like how it all happened, and like, and none of the details are really that exaggerated, maybe not even hardly exaggerated at all. And so it was just kind of crazy. Yeah. Somebody in the comments says that's insane. Yeah, it was kind of insane. But yeah, it was something I'll probably never forget. And I did not indeed have to go to school that following morning. It was quite a nice day off, actually. Even though we had to like kind of fix up the house, there wasn't really much we could do at the moment. So we just kind of called some people in. We were like, hey, is this being able to fix? They're like, yeah, it's no problem. So yeah, it was kind of crazy. So yeah, that's the story of how my house flooded. It's actually one of my favorite stories to tell, because it's just, you don't even, some people like to exaggerate their stories, and like, you don't even have to exaggerate this one. It's just so crazy how it is. So somebody asked, can I draw anime? Actually, I've never attempted to draw anime. I've always been like interested in how it looks though. But yeah, I've always been very, very interested in how it looks. So anyway, that was my crazy story time. Let me know if you guys have any crazy stories. I love to read them, and sometimes I like to share them with other people too. I'm like, this happened to this person, this happened to that person. It's all very, very cool things that are going on. So at the moment, as far as my drawing, I'm just kind of filling in all the spaces where like the I don't even know what to call it, like the swirls should be. And so I'm just kind of trying to fill all of that in. That way it's just looks like it's complete and not just kind of like half finished. I think I'm gonna put another little like starry thing here. And that way that'll work fine. So anyway, another small story time, I guess. Just a few days after that had happened, our car ended up kind of getting smashed into. It was kind of insane. I won't say why because it's a little bit inappropriate what happened and not really no, that video got stuck. Okay, I think we're back. I had to
Are you done?
pass the notification. Nope. So, anyways, we're back, I think. Let me see if it's working again.
Did you find Helen over here earlier?
Mm-mm.
Found it right away.
My video got stuck.
Been there for like 3 hours.
No, I paused for like 2 hours. I started it, turned it off, and talked with Molly for a bit. And then Molly texted me and we FaceTimed. It was really nice.
What about all your people that were watching? You told me to go pound pavement, go kick rocks?
No, nobody was watching.
Huh?
Nobody was watching. Okay, oh, we're back. Okay, great. Sorry about that. My phone had like a 20% like need to dismiss notification kind of thing. Okay. Here we go. Okay, so my video is actually lagging quite a bit. I'm so sorry about that.
Jay, do you know is Cubby in there?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Did you want the door remain closed?
No, it's fine. I just want to make, either you've got to be on late or you've got to be, the door's closed or.
We've been there for a couple hours. When did you take them out? Here's my video.
Okay, so sorry about that pause, or for the 2 people watching, but anyway, let's get back. So I don't know how long it was paused for, but even after, I'll go back a bit. So even just a few days after that whole fiasco had happened, and I kind of swear that my family has some of the worst luck I've ever seen. Like, it's just such bad luck for so many things that we have to deal with. But honestly, it's just kind of a building character kind of situation, and honestly, that's really what it does. Anyways, so as I was saying, just a few days after this whole crazy thing had happened, our car gets smashed on the side. It was parked, so nobody was hurt. And since we live in the city, there's just some kind of crazy people driving around and whatnot. And I can't say the reason it was smashed on here because it's a little bit inappropriate. But just in general, some people were doing some stupid things and ended up smashing our car on the side of the road. And we didn't even find out about it until, once again, our tenants called us and let us know, hey, your car's in the middle of the sidewalk and it's like kind of smashed up. So our neighbor apparently had heard it all go down last night and called the police, and they had come to our door and kind of banged on it for a solid 2 minutes. And I'm usually a pretty light sleeper, but I didn't hear any of it. And we were all kind of shocked because we were like, some of us should have heard something, but none of us did. And we were really curious as to why they didn't just ring the doorbell, because that would have definitely woken all of us up, but they didn't do that either. So we found out the next morning that all this had happened, and basically we were all just kind of like shocked. We were like, can this be salvaged, do you think? Is it just gonna, we just gonna have to buy a new car? And in the end we did end up getting a new car, but it was actually a kind of a blessing in disguise, because we ended up getting an electric car, and it's so much nicer and better for the environment, and it's also just a really cool, different kind of like vehicle that none of us had ever really experienced before. So that was also kind of just like a, well, I guess that happened, but we ended up benefiting from it, even with like the loss of a car. So that was also a pretty interesting experience. I do have a final story. Hopefully I'll be able to finish my drawing within the time span of this story. Thank you to the people who are still watching. I appreciate you. You guys are the best. Eventually I'll get enough stats to meet certain circumstances on YouTube Studio, where eventually people will be able to send super chats, or be able to shop on a storefront if I make one, or be able to have a membership to my YouTube channel. So hopefully I can get some of those. That will be fantastic, and I love actually having to do these lives, even if not very many people want to watch them, because I just enjoy talking and drawing and doing all sorts of stuff. So let me know if you guys want to see more of this kind of content, or if you just kind of want to stick to the vlogging style shorts. But I'm actually excited because I'm going to do a couple long form videos soon, which I don't do very often, but I have a couple ideas that I'm really excited to try out, and I hope you guys like them. So anyway, I'm gonna get back to my last story. I have a lot of kind of crazy stories from just living in this house. We've had a lot of crazy stuff happen to us. So basically this one's a little bit shorter. We were pretty much just sleeping, and it's in the middle of the night. A lot of things happen to us in the middle of the night. It's really kind of a strange occurrence. And we live on a really, really busy street in a decently crime-ridden city. And it's like a main street, and it's really loud, and there's a lot of just things going on all the time. Normally our street isn't too bad as far as like crime. A few streets down, the crime is pretty bad. But normally it's pretty decent on our street. But anyway, so we are all sleeping because it's like 1 in the morning. Actually, no, it's actually more like 4 in the morning is what the police told us. And then I, being on the 2nd floor, my parents sleep on the 3rd floor of the house. That way they don't hear as many things when things like go on downstairs and whatnot. Me and my sister do, however, because we sleep closer to the 1st floor. And so I wake up to the sound of glass crashing. Like, it sounded like a whole cabinet full with glass had fallen over, which we do actually have a cupboard, or I guess, I don't know what to call it, a vanity, I guess, kind of. It's just a really big cupboard filled with glass, and I thought my cat had knocked it down in the middle of the night because he had come running up the stairs after the sound, and I was like, oh, you're gonna be in trouble if that was you, you know. But I'm kind of freaked out. My parents actually do hear this, and they're really freaked out as well, so they called the police, and we thought someone had broken in, which now thinking about it, that would have been kind of silly to assume that, because people who break in usually are quite quiet, not crashing windows and stuff, but we weren't obviously with it because we were sleeping. And so we're like, please, don't come up here. Just take what you want and leave. And so we end up just standing up there after having called the police. We just stay upstairs in our rooms, like, and we're just like, go away, please, and take what you want and go. And it ends up nobody was actually in our house, which thank goodness. But somebody had thrown a quite light, actually, it didn't weigh hardly anything, a metal lantern into our window. And it's like a decorative lantern, it just kind of sat on the front stoop. And we were just kind of like, how did that break this super thick window, first of all? And second of all, who is throwing it? So we keep bikes locked up on our front porch. And our assumption was that somebody had tried to come steal the bikes and that they got frustrated when they realized they were locked and threw a lantern into our window. It was really, really strange situation, actually. We were kind of like confused. First, just like how it even like broke the window itself. But the police were here really quickly after that, and we didn't ever actually find the person who did it. But it was still kind of scary. And then there was glass all over our living room, and it was like really annoying not to have a window for a couple days. But yeah, so that was kind of another pretty crazy experience. Let's see, have there been any comments recently? People are asking me, are you a Swiftie? I would say I'm not like a super Swiftie like some people are. Like I have a friend, she's completely obsessed with Taylor Swift, as she should be. I love Taylor Swift, but I wouldn't necessarily say I'm like a hardcore Swiftie. I would say I'm more like a baby Swiftie, if that's even a thing. Because I really, really like her videos, and I really like how she sings, and her, not videos, I'm sorry, music. I like how she sings, and I like watching her like documentaries and stuff. It's really cool. Somebody says, oh, thank you, you're so sweet. Somebody says, I'm very talented. I'm also using an inspiration off Pinterest, so this is not completely my own design, and this is one of my first time actually ever using Poscas. So this is just an iPad case that I'm deciding to decorate, and I just figured, hey, I might as well go live, see what happens, see what's going on. So I actually did do a live a couple hours ago, and it just wasn't very interesting. I even wasn't very interested, so I figured, hey, I should probably just stop and finish like the background and then come back and kind of work on the details. I figure have a story ready and maybe people would find that more interesting. It seems like people have found this more interesting. Yeah, so really excited to have been doing this. So I'm just checking some things over here. Okay, perfect. Let's continue. So basically, you guys can tell me any crazy stories you have in the comments. Tell me what you've been doing this summer. Tell me what your favorite hobbies are. But I'll do a little bit of a get to know me, I guess, since a lot of people have been asking a lot of questions about me, and I haven't obviously had time to get to all their comments. So I can answer some of those questions in this video. I'll probably title this video like Get to Know Me, Story Time, and Paint a iPad Case. It's kind of just a whole mix of lots of things. So let's start. My name is Adeline, but my channel name is Two Tone Peach. Don't ask me where I got that name from. I really don't know where it came from. I just made it up and I really liked it. And I just was like kind of playing around with usernames and whatnot, and I just liked the sound of it. I liked the ring it had, I liked everything about it. So I was just like, okay, well, I mean, I guess I can always change it later, but the name has really kind of stuck, and I think I'll keep it because it's really unique and I just like it a lot for whatever reason. It's just very appealing to me. I have 2 cats, as I may have mentioned in previous videos. My first cat is, I think, 6. Yeah, it's 2024. I got him in summer of 2018. So yeah, he's 6. He's really sweet, and he's a tabby cat. He's really skittish, but he's also really, really sweet and like cuddly. So he's a great cat. His name is Hooligan, and he definitely lives up to his name. Very, very crazy, spontaneous, silly cat. My second cat I got this last winter, the winter actually of 2024. Well, I guess January of 2024. And his name is Rudy. He is a kitten still. He is so cute. He's a little rag doll. And his full name is Sir Rudolph the Black-Nosed Ragdoll. He is kind of like a brownish cream color, and he's got white all over him, and he's got like a brown nose, but we didn't want to call him the brown-nosed ragdoll because that sounds kind of funny, so we call him the black-nosed ragdoll, and so we just call him Rudy for short. He's super, super cute and cuddly and crazy, as a kitten is. And basically, I've always thought of starting a YouTube channel. I've always had this idea in the back of my mind, like, oh, you know what, when I'm 13, I'm going to start a YouTube channel. So actually, when I turned 13, I did start my YouTube channel. It was really, really bad. I mean, this may not be perfect now, but it's definitely better than it was. I made like one video about like me rating dollar store stuff. Please don't go watch that video. It's really embarrassing. But I kept it up anyways. I have deleted a couple of videos after I posted them just because they were really just kind of weird and I didn't like them very much. Then after that came around my 14th birthday, and my channel had like 20 subscribers or something after like that one video I had posted. And so I just was like, you know what, I'm actually gonna try and put some effort into this channel now. So I just kind of started making some videos. It didn't really matter what they were as long as I was just kind of pumping content, you know. People seemed to really enjoy it. I had one video that actually went pretty viral. It was, well, viral for me at least. It was a video called, I titled it, Could You Tell the Difference? Because it was a YouTube short of me doing a trend. And I got, I think, like 700,000 views, and I think it's still gaining more views at the moment. I'm actually really hoping it gets to 1 million views. That would be super exciting for me. And so I just make content if it's a trend, or if I see something that's interesting to me, or if I just feel like it, or some vlog styles. As I mentioned previously, I'm actually thinking about making some pretty long form videos. I'm actually excited to try those out, see how well they do. And I'm actually pretty surprised. I know I don't have very many people watching right now, but I did have at one point lots of people here and looking at my channel and my video, and honestly that's all I need at the moment. So just a few weeks ago I reached 1,000 subscribers, which was pretty exciting for me. Lots of people have been super supportive and super kind, and I was really excited to... Oh, my video paused again. Sorry about that, guys. Let me try and like kind of move this cord around, see if I can maybe charge it. Because my phone is almost dead actually, and that is what I'm using to record. Oh, it does reach, okay. Let me just put that in there. This is a super flattering image of me. Okay, there we go. Okay, we should be live again in just a second. Now it'll lag back again because my phone records it and then it doesn't actually show up back on here until it starts again. So it's like a minute behind, I think. It's a little bit far behind. Okay, so now that, even though it's still lagging, I'll still keep talking just so when it catches up, it should be interesting at least to watch. Okay, Oop, go away. Guys, I hate flies. Okay, perfect. So let's continue. So anyway, I started my channel and I'm actually pretty happy with where it's going. It's not increasing at a crazy amount, and I do try to like improve my videos. I don't have hardly any equipment besides my phone and like a tripod. I think my next idea is to get a microphone so I can have like some better audio, hopefully. I'm not sure how the audio is right now, but you guys can let me know if you have any video ideas or suggestions or anything that you request or suggest that I get to make some better content. So now I'm going to draw the silhouette of the two cats in the middle, and then I think this will be done. I think I should probably get a, I think they call it shellac, so you can like spray it with a clear spray, and it's actually really interesting how it just kind of like seals it all in. So, okay, let's continue. Some more about like get to know me. This kind of will spoil one of the videos I did, but I am an oldest sibling and only have one younger sister. And there's just the two of us. I have obviously my parents and I have my grandparents, which I'm actually at my grandparents' house at the moment. Right now, oh, I'm kind of scared to draw this cat. Right now I am on summer vacation and I don't start school at least for another like month, I think. We got kind of just did all grass up here. So I'm gonna draw, I think, my cats so that they have a silhouette in this what's it called? In this like mountain range here and on the grass, and then I'll draw some grass around their like bodies, and I think that'll conclude it. So I am on vacation right now. I've been a lot of places actually so far this summer, and I think my favorite place has been Alaska. We traveled, I traveled by myself and with my friend from where I live to here in Oregon to visit my grandparents. We, her and I, my friend and I, just had a great time for like a week just by ourselves, my grandparents. It was a great time. And then I drove down with my grandparents to California, where my other family lives, my other part of my family, I guess you could say. My grandparents drove me down there to meet my actual parents, which I hadn't seen in like a week, and the rest of my family. They stayed down there for a few days, visiting with everybody, and it was a really good time. And so I saw my family. I was really excited to see them actually, because I hadn't seen them in a few weeks, you know, in a week and a half, I think, not a few weeks. And then after that, we just hung out down there for a week and a half, I think. We went, my great aunt and uncle have a pool in their backyard, so that was really fun, because where we were in California was like between 110 and 120 degrees every single day. At least it was dry heat, but like it's still crazy how hot it was. And so it was really, really hot. So basically all we did was just like enjoy the pool and whatnot and try to forget about how hot it was. But it was really nice to see them because we didn't get to see them at Christmas. We went on a different trip. Normally we see them at Christmas and during the summertime. So then after that, we ended up going to, we went down, further down in California, further south. We went camping, and we went to a lake, which was really, really fun for a few days. It was a really different experience because I live in the city, and camping is not something I've really ever done, like in my life. And I think I discovered that I definitely prefer the city over camping. I'm not really an outdoorsy person, but it was still really cool, an experience. And then after that, we went back to up further in California, back to see the people we had just been with, and we ended up staying there for a day or two before we had to leave for Alaska. We drove like 8 hours during the whole day to get to the airport in Portland. So we drove all the way from Northern California to Portland, which that was quite the drive. And it was long drive. Then we got there, we hung out for like an hour, kind of got some food, and then we went on the airplane to Alaska, which actually wasn't that long a flight. It was like 4 hours maybe, not very long at all. 3.5 hours even. So we flew up there and we explored Anchorage, Homer, and Denali. It was really, really cool. It was like the highlight of my trip. We went to a glacier, which was, I think, my favorite part of the actual trip itself. We climbed the glacier and it was ice and you could eat the ice and drink the water and it was really, really fun. So then after we went there, we flew back to Oregon, which is where I am right now. I'm at my grandparents' house on the beach, and it's been really nice just to kind of sit down and relax, because the amount of hiking we did in Alaska, whew, it was a lot. I don't know if I'll be hiking again for at least a year. It was a lot of hiking. And I'm not usually one to hike a ton, but I mean, it was a cool experience. So, I'm almost done with these cats here. They're super cute looking. They actually turned out way better than I thought they would. Really excited to finish this and give it to my papa. He's been wanting this. He's been wanting a design on his case basically since he's got it, which has been a very long time. And I haven't really ever gotten around to it or known what I was going to draw on it, but now that I finally have this idea, I think it's really cute actually, and I like it a lot. I think I messed up a little bit right here. It looks more like a extension rather than a reflection. You try and fix that with some blue marker. Maybe I can make that look a little bit better. Cover that up. It's a really cool thing about Posca is that you can just kind of cover anything up if you make a mistake. It's not like a colored pencil where if you make a mistake you really can't fix it. It's just like paint. You can just draw it over again, or draw over it, or draw next to it. Okay, I think I'm gonna do a few more strokes of, like, I don't know what this is, wispiness over here, and then I think I'll be done with this. So
I'm sorry, your mommy.
So this is really,
You're sorry.
really nice. So most people actually in this house have gone, except for I think my dad, my papa, and my sister. The rest of them all went kayaking, which I didn't feel like doing today.
Did your mom and Wendy go on the kayaking?
Yeah.
Yes, my mom and her friend and my grandma, they all went kayaking, and I think they're gonna have a good time. There's this very cool place around here where you can go kayaking and to a kind of like, not really hidden, but you have to take a kayak to get there, this beach covered in sand dollars, so we call it Sand Dollar Beach. It's a very, very cool experience. There's lots of caves you can go into when it's low tide, and only if you know about it really can you get there. That would be my dad in the background making noise.
Found some lime juice.
Anyways, I think we're pretty much done here. I might add a little bit of detail to the mountains. Just kind of
Can you leave your scissor and top
a
some?
little bit of
No, I didn't.
shadow. Because, you know,
I didn't see.
it's kind of a little thing. They're making fun of me for how long I've been talking.
I'm making fun. I can't believe how long you've been talking.
Anyways, almost done with this. I'm not going to show the clear coating because it's just what it sounds like, a clear coating.
Oh, so much surfing.
I really like to talk on these things as if it's like I'm on like a FaceTime with a friend or something, because it's just a lot easier to talk about things that's been going on in life and cool stories and stuff. So I think we're pretty much done here. So let me see if there's been any comments since then. Okay, I think there's three. Thank you to the people who have stayed, or thanks for the people who have gone in and out. Your viewership helps my channel a lot. If you want to subscribe, go ahead and subscribe. It'll help me a lot as well. Sorry for like the few little glitches, and give me any video ideas or any ideas just in general to kind of like improve my channel or things that you want to see. I do have some ideas coming up, and I will see you guys in the next one. Thank you for watching. Here's the final project.
Two-tone peach out.
I think he's really gonna like it. This is really impressing myself, actually. I really like how this turned out. Okay, thank you guys for watching. Bye.